the first time with Rock, or do you mix it up? And KT is known for aggression. They are known for pulling something different, like they did against Samsung. And so I think SKT were very ready. And the reason why you know they're ready for the pressure draft is, I wrote down the bans here. 3 of the 5 bans are Kennen, Rumble, Renekton. All of them lane boys, all of them will push in. People will be like, okay, but Renekton into Shen, not a great matchup. Sure, but it pushes early. And that is what KT were focused on, pushing. And with Renekton, it'll be initiation. With the Jace, it's for the harass, obviously, with the long range. Yeah. And they kind of picked themselves into a corner. Fizz with teleport chosen as a potential engage tool. And also the Shen outscaling basically all the damage, but specifically the Jace, meant that the window for KT was much smaller, and predictably they didn't dumpster bot lane and take a 5 to 8 minute turret, so they don't have really the kind of momentum they did against Samsung. There was no 100 CS advantages for either AD carry or top laner, so we revisit the point, coming back to where you started. The Baron call. Around 20 minutes, they get 4 for 1, which with their comp, it felt like there was going to be a time where the damage would fall off, especially with Pawn having to build so defensively. They get 4 for 1, start the Baron. They put all 4 members to so all 4 members to DPS it down, and crucially, they pull off it. Now, they could have sent some people around the back to try and interrupt Lee Sin, but the argument is, do they have enough damage and trade tanking to be able to take it down with 3 members? With 4 members, they could, but with 3 members, that part was a little bit hard to decipher. So they end up ultimately pulling away at 2,000 HP. And it's always going to be the call that's going to be focused on is, yep, GBM is still here, can confirm. Is it the right call? Is it the wrong call? Results-orientated answer is wrong call. And also my initial impression at the time, as you can roll back the tape, is that it's the wrong call because how can you ever hope for a better scenario than a 4 for 1 before the tank items are complete with the turrets in a great spot? Will it get better than that at 25, 30 minutes? Because we already said the game gets better at 25, 30 minutes for Kt Rolster. And I think ultimately it proved that they had to go for it. They had to go for what would have been a 50-50, and they did.
Well, they suffered for it, so will KT change up their style, or will they just kind of keep mashing their heads into the wall and hope that they break through?
Well, I have some inside information. I saw Smeb in the back, and Smeb and I always have lovely chats. Remember when he started missing Shen taunts, and I said, okay, it's Maokai time, my friend. Well, I was talking to him about today, and I said, well, is there a pocket pick? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, is it for game 1? He's like, no, it's a game 5 pocket pick. So, you know KT has strategy. They came in so prepared against Samsung. They had the Master Stroke. They unlocked Samsung in a way that SKT couldn't, and in a way that surprised us all. In game 1, they went standard, they went pushing lane, Telecom War 1, Telecom War 2, stuff that SKT had seen before, and SKT outmatched them like they did so often in the past.
Well, if you have a pocket pick, I don't know if you can really afford to save it to game 5. Oh. Might need to use it in order to get yourself.
But then it's the
there.
fun question of, do you use it in game 2 when you're 1 down, or do you keep it for game 3 where you're already on match point? That part also is hard to decipher.
Yeah, it's a ballsy move either way. You need to know when to pull it out. I think that they might need to do it in game number 2 here.
I think everyone knows, and there's been a lot of musings in the scene about where KT's at shot calling wise, because obviously we saw the OGN video when things were looking good, and then we saw the mid games go atrociously. They were atrocious for KT for a good, 5, 6 matches in a row, and people wonder why. And you have to think, given the amount of information we have, it's a confidence thing. It's about when they win, they look good, and when they're behind, they start to struggle. And that's why you go for a pressure draft, because you're winning from the start of a game, and you have that kind of ease to shot call. It's so much easier to shot call from ahead than shot call from behind, and it feels like KT doesn't necessarily have the structure right now to shot call from behind. So they go pressure, but they're now 1-0 down. The pressure mounts on them. Do you really... Can you see a reverse sweep from KT? Last year's KT was so different. They were a close-knit team of people that have been around for a while, especially by the summer season. There wasn't the same potential for egos. We have pedigree on both sides, but KT, compared to last year, where they had a lot of great role players and a couple of stars, have 5 stars now. Yeah. And it can't be surprising that when they start losing, everyone who are proven winners, score accepted, of course, wants to put in their say. You know, they want to put in their say, and that seems to have counted against KT more than it's counted for them.
So what you're saying is you think that maybe like when they start losing, when they start kind of falling out, they maybe get a little bit flustered, and then everybody starts talking at once, and there's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
Or maybe even worse, maybe people stop talking.
That's true.
And that's another possibility. You know, we've seen some of these players have been emotional. Look at Deft, for example, who's known for his tears on the world stage when they've lost. They have emotional players. All of them react differently. And if they won game one, you could feel the KT fans, they would certainly be feeling confident. Losing game one, I think this is the pivotal game for them. I think KT lose a second game in a row, a betting man would say 3-0.
All right, well, backs up against the walls here for KT, and it's really weird to have to say that after only just game number one. So.
A game where they were in the lead for a long time.
Yeah. So we'll see what they do. We'll see if that pocket pick surfaces here for Smeb.
Well, he's already shown talent top, so how crazy can you get, Smeb? Come on, I'm challenging you. What you got?
I don't really want to call that one a pocket pick so much. More of a tragedy on the Rift. But it seems like our weekly LCK little event there has wrapped up, so we should be getting our first MVP of this series up on the board shortly. We're going to go to a break by the look of it, so here from SKT.
제가 오늘은 좀 특별한 방법을 해보려고 하는데요. 그래서 우리 듬직한 시동생들과 우리 김정윤 코치님을 제대로 소개해보도록 하겠습니다. 우리 코치님을 코치님! 자, 여기가 이제 코치님 집인데 상당히 깨끗한데요? 너무 깨끗한데? 아주 깨끗하죠, 이 정도면? 코치님 지금 자고 계시네요.
우리 코치님은요, 결혼을 진짜 하고 싶어 하시거든요.
아, 진짜 장가가고 싶습니다. 이거 보고 진짜 정말 장가가고 싶어요.
근데 아직까지 혼자세요. 진짜 잘생기셨네.
코치님 일어나고 계시죠? 와, 이거 뭐 잠옷 광고 아니에요?
저 소파요? 저 이제 제가 코치님 완전 최고급 가족에 그냥 특대형 소파로 내가 코치님 선물해드렸는데 아마 결혼하셔도 충분히 한 50년은 쓰실 겁니다.
별로 안 좋아요.
저희 코치님은 진짜 요리도 잘하시고 못하는 게 단 하나도 없습니다.
냉장고 왜 사셨지? 코치인데? 또 코치님이 혼자 사신 지 오래되셔서 집안일 또 장인이시거든요. 저 많은 레고를 어떻게 다 만드셨지? 인내심도 완벽하죠? 네, 팀원들을 가족처럼 아끼는 자상함까지 완벽하지 않습니까? 네. 에반데?
이게 소지섭이야, 김정균이야.
코치님이 연습실로 오고 계시는 것 같은데 5분도 안 걸리거든요? 조용히 방송해야겠어요. 몰래 하는 거라.
상임이 게임해?
네네. 잘하고 있네. 네. 코치님은 세계 최고, 그러니까 세체미를 좋아하세요. 잡았죠? 세계 최고 미녀분 꼭 연락 바랍니다.
우리 코치님 언제 웨딩 멀치 하시려나? 와이프 자리가 블랭크인데 말이지.
블랭크?
기가 막힌 여자분 한 번 있는데 소개시켜드릴까?
설마 그 여자 말하는 거야?
단발머리에.
청순하게 까자고 단아한?
애교가 진짜 기가 막혀.
완전 신나. 왜 이렇게 피곤하냐?
우리 코치님 진짜 사람 진짜 좋은데 우리 코치님이랑 결혼해줄 분 진짜 어디 없나요?
윤식이 어딨니?
예! 저 방송 끌게요.
또
네.
허리케인이 발동될 것 같죠? 네.
이제 진짜 연기가 시작됐어요.
이게 먹었잖아. 얘들아, 나 진짜 장가 가고 싶어.
지금부터는 김정균 코치한테
얘들아, 나 진짜 장가 가고 싶어. 결혼하고 싶다.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So get ready to go into game 2. Go ahead and take a look at that Damage to Champions Stream #1. And good God, Faker did so much of it.
And we had a whole season of Varus winning, of Ezra winning, of Jace, who comes second here, winning. Non-committal poke damage. There's nothing but commitment from a Fizz. The zoning fishes certainly were not harassment fishes. This is all from Fizz all ends, and you have to think the Faker will also see the MVP. He does. He gives you that stare, the stare that could shudder you from 1,000 miles away, and Faker was the key contributor. He took the risky choice. They opted in to no wave clear because they knew that the tipping point was triple teleport with the Stand United, and Faker, because of the nature of getting 300 points in the final for an MVP, is now joint first.
Yep, goes ahead, surges his way to the top to tie in with depth. Several other members of KT waiting behind him. They need to pick up wins in order to come out on top, but here you can see just masterful Fizz play from him. It's been so long since we've seen it, and he still plays it to a T.
And I love clips like this because, I mean, if you think about it, Syndra and Fizz effectively do the same thing. They delete one person. That's what they're set up to do, and consistently Syndra, who had to build super defensive, Merc treads Zonias, and the Zonias certainly was only buying time and wasn't turning around fights, could not find picks, especially on full HP members, and eventually with Lulu and stuff, it was always going to be a struggle, but even in the early game, didn't have the item timings to do so, and Faker did not have any troubles at all.
It just seemed like every time KT tried to initiate the fight onto SK Telecom inside their own jungle, he got thrown on its head completely, and a lot of it due to the work done by Faker. Pawn, yet again, stranded because of that Zonius. Just not doing enough damage to get a pick early on in the fight to try to turn the tide for KT Rolster. They suffer for it, and Faker, he goes ahead, just continuously snatches up those kills. 88% kill contribution on that Fizz.
And this will make us wonder, Kilios, because remember, it's dynamic side selection here in the LCK playoffs. Game 1, SKT chose red side. They have the highest seed, so they choose side on game 1, 3, and 5. If you remember in the semifinals, KT was choosing blue side. So SKT wanted the trump card. They wanted the counter pick. They got it with the Fizz and used it to great degree. And we're waiting to see if it will be KT choosing blue side, traditionally their strongest side, because if they do, you have to imagine it's going to be another counter pick for Faker, and he's 1 for 1 on those counter picks.
Yep, starting things off very nicely as we go ahead and unveil the booths yet again.
It's just so cool.
It really is.
We were told it was a contents box, and the contents are 10 of the best League of Legends players in the world. KT finally riding momentum, SKT in a spot where they've done it before, whether it's this exact venue or this particular match. 5 championships already, looking to make it a baker's dozen.
All right, well, here we go. Getting into the pick and pan. You can see it's going to be KT electing over onto the blue side yet again, and Piz is going to be the first man right out the gate.
And we could see 5 games of SKT on red side, given KT's penchant for choosing blue. They were given blue, then chose blue, and then Samsung had to try and mix it up in game 3.
But first, they have to win on it if they want to take us to 5 games. For now, KT want to focus in on 4. See, though, Kennen coming out in SK Telecom, starting things off just about the same. I expect that Rumble likely to follow up.
And they, even though they see a Shen ban, KT clearly have already abandoned their ban strategy, but SKT knows that push advantage in top lane, getting a carry matchup in top lane is one of the cornerstones of KT winning a game. Ideally, Score wants to spend his time around bot lane and just have KT, with Smeb having a favorable matchup at the top lane and not need too much attention, barring maybe a snowball gank. And so far, 2 of the same bans, and it may just be the same 3 for SKT.
You can see a couple things available here for SK Telecom. Right now, the Karma on the board, as well as that Ezreal that we saw banned away from Bang. So could see those come out perhaps in this first half of the draft. Expect that with the Ashe still available,
and if you're not afraid,
we could see that snatch up for depth yet again.
If you're not afraid of Scores, Elise, do you have to ban Graves is kind of the interesting question that SKT are going to answer at the last. They actually don't lock in a ban as far as we can see on our overlay. Yeah, we have the in-game overlay as well, so there is, of course, the chance that they missed a ban, or maybe they're just being alpha about it, but only 2 bans come through, which means that Graves is available in this game.
Now we'll see if we have some remakes coming through here, but for now it looks like they did just go ahead and forego this, so leaving something available. They want to snatch up. The Graves will come through, however, for Score.
This has already been a series of turning points. KT pulling off a Baron was the turning point of game 1. This is such a crazy thing to say, but you have to think that Graves would have been considered for the ban. And speaking of considerations, Camille will be taken early. Now, Camille can be flexed to bot lane. So if you see it early, we expect KT to go Renekton and try to tussle with the Camille. But Afrika already showed, and of course, globally, we've seen the flex pick happen many times. With the Lulu, though, is it still a flex pick? We have seen 1 game of Lulu mid come through in the EU LCS, Power of Evil playing it, but
and if
anybody's pretty tricky.
If anybody's really going to play that Lulu mid, Faker would be the guy to do it.
You need to take the Renekton now if you want it. It will be banned by SKT if you do not see it selected in this round of picks. Yeah, certainly no surprise. But if Smeb wants to get one of the traditional counter picks to Camille, now is the time. It could be softer picks. We're still on 7.6, so no further Camille nerfs have come in and have been there on 7.7 and further. So Camille may not be full power, but still needs to be respected and then some.
Still pretty formidable here, an opponent. But it looks like they might actually forgo the Renekton pick as they hover over this LeBlanc.
Well,
it was banned away the second half of the draft by KT.
Riddle me this. Why would you take your mid lane blind in this spot? Very simple answer is, of course, to try and get a pressure lane, and LeBlanc is one of the best of those. But the further question is, we spent our couple of minutes of break talking about a pocket pick, and if you're going to see Renekton and Poppy, those sort of champions banned, maybe that pocket pick's coming this time, because Smeb is not elected to take Renekton. One is the clean lane counter and one of his best champions as well.
Well, Lee Sin locked in here for Peanut, now 10-0 on that champion for the split. Gonna try and go ahead and make that number 11. We can come up with a win. What is in store here for the bans the second half as SKT takes the helm?
Second half is definitely going to take a different turn, because we talked about SKT always getting the counter pick on red. Now you've already seen the LeBlanc, and now you have no idea where Smeb is going with the top lane. Renekton, the most obvious champion, as we said, would certainly be banned in this spot. But they're basically saying, we're taking LeBlanc, you deal with it, and they're not giving a last pick, counter pick to specifically the top lane available. So they have extra information. We could see a different cadence to the pick ban here. Jace will be banned away on the side of SKT, not wanting Smeb to jump back on that.
And then the Varus here by KT. They want to follow this up with an Ezreal ban, however. I would expect that they'd want to take this off the board.
Caitlyn's still available. Other potential champs still available. You see a Lulu and you wonder about Kog'Maw's and Twitch's as well. Even the Jinx, but maybe that's more of a KT thing. I think they might even consider last picking bot lane. And yes, it will be mid lane Lulu, like we suggested, if we see the Karma up. Although I guess it could be mid lane Karma. We're getting flexes upon flexes here, Achilles.
All right, well, the more likely seems like it's going to be Faker with that Lulu, but who really knows where this is going?
Who wore it better, Achilles? Was it Doinby on Karma, or was it Power of Evil on the Lulu? Now, Faker is one of the most famous mid lane Lulus ever. Spent the better part of 2015 and 2016 playing the Lulu. But we're still no closer to knowing which of these supports is going mid. And you look at this pick and you basically plug in Kog'Maw or Twitch on the side of SKT.
All right, well, a lot of surprises on both sides here. Malzahar locked in from Mata yet again, had some good engages, some good flash engages with that Nethergrass.
Who's going against the Camille is the question to be answered here. Is it going to be something standard like the Poppy still available? Is it going to be a lane counter?
All right.
We're going full carry mode with the Fiora once again. No real semblance of team fighting, no front line for the side of Kt Rolster.
And there it is.
It had to be Twitch or Kog'Maw. That's exactly what they set up for with double support. And Bang has risen from being a defensive laner for Faker when SKT finally recombined in spring to a true carry. No one would deny that Bang is a top 2, top 3 AD carry, top 1 in many people's books. And Twitch was definitely his side of the coin when it came to Twitch and Kog'Maw. He's no jinx. He's going on the plague rat. We've seen this in finals before. A year ago, we saw Prey and Bang taking the Twitch to the Rift, and Twitch is back.
Yes, it is, and it seems like Karma might just be the pick here for the mid lane.
Waiting for 20 seconds.
And there we go, out of time to swap. So yes, it will be Wolf on the Lulu yet again.
And Doinby wore it better, we found out, as it's been a big pick over in China in particular, the mid lane Karma. Items like Athene's Unholy Grail build very comfortably there, but we know what this comp does. You dump gold into utility items and you have Twitch take over the game, and there's certainly people on the side of KT that can squish a rat. You look at LeBlanc, you look at the Malzahar, there's a lot of engage, but you have to think Mikhail's, QSS, a lot of things will come through, and then we're going to see Bang hard carrying game 2. So I'm super surprised to see this adaptation from SKT, but it's a welcome return to a comp that carried them to so much success years ago.
All right, well, Huni going for this Camille yet again, but into Smeb's Fiora. A formidable opponent on any champion, but this Fiora for him is stuff of legends.
Mid lane also an interesting one when we get to it, with the LeBlanc and potential for warping a game. In the jungle, we do see Score piling the Graves that may have indeed been the final ban. It would have probably been Camille or Graves as the final ban for SKT. They elected or missed their option to ban. There was no ban there. The result is quite a lot of power on the side of both teams. But SKT are looking to sustain through the LeBlanc with the shields and open up this man on the right of your screen. Bang, one of the best in the world, to pop up on the Twitch.
We've seen him hovering from time to time, showing his appreciation for his newfound Twitch audience.
There's no HP on the side of KT. There's going to be no Warden's Mail. There's going to be no armor, no tanks. We can see Twitch pop off.
Getting some wards down on the ground could be difficult for them. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 2. See if SKT can take this to match point.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Fans out in full force on both sides of the Rift. Sold out for so long in this grand final before the teams were even confirmed.
Yeah, sold out in the opening days of the tickets being available. Like you say, Achilles, Samsung fans, maybe they resold or maybe they're here, appreciating some great League of Legends, because this is what the world was looking for the moment the lineups were locked in. They wanted 7 games, 7 series between SKT and KT through the course of 2017, and they still are on course for them. 3 in the spring season, 3 in the summer season, and Worlds are the spots where we could see these Goliaths of League of Legends meet, and we've got the first 3 confirmed.
Yep. Just gonna start things off. We'll see how KT are gonna play this early game. Get rid of that shield there on the bottom. Mitigates a bit of damage with his E. He's trying to find himself in the lane, but he'll be on the bottom side of these exchanges, at least to start things off. The exhaust already coming out onto Def. Getting traded pretty heavily on by Wolf, but we can go ahead, turn right back in onto the Poppy.
And this actually is reminiscent of Ruler and Core JJ being forced out of lane multiple times in the Samsung series. Deft had Doran's blade, so he had much less margin for error on the trades. I think the SKT was surprised that he stuck the landing and continued to harass Bang the long way because he doesn't have the backup of 3 potions to get through lane. When they have a big health advantage, still is a potion here, Bang.
Yeah, still a lot of work to be done by Wolf. Has to be on point with the shields. Just mitigate the damage coming through and onto that Twitch. Meanwhile, there's going to be another exhaust coming in. Pops the heal, keeps himself alive. Minimizes losses, so will be a summoner spell advantage still here for Kt Rolster.
You'll notice that Peanut started from the red side jungle. The significance here, other than Raptors, maybe you'll have to hold on to that for a lot of trading.
Heal coming up from Def now as they keep going back and forth. Bang going low. Blake ticking away onto Mono. We'll work him a little bit further down, but now Peanut starting.
And that's what I meant. When you start topside, you have the natural pathing into bot. He's rushing. He's not going for a scuttle crab. He wants a quick first blood.
Going straight in through that tri-brush. Has not been spotted yet. Flash forward. Wolf gets the slow. Can they follow up the Sonic Wave? Flashes it, locks him down with the Tempest and comes up with first blood. SKT put it on the board in 3 minutes.
And I couldn't mention it because of the trading, but when you start topside, you have the natural path into bot lane. Didn't take the blue, just went for the easier Wolf camp, hit level 3, and had only one place in mind. And it's academic when you see so many summoner spells down already, not even a pesky exhaust to force his way through. And we didn't see that sort of pathing from Scorer. KT were not in a position to react on the bot side of the map, even though we said what was the core tenet of KT beating Samsung. It was the bot lane first bricks and the bot lane focus. Clear love where? Because Scorer wasn't in position.
Some exchange here on a Faker. Scorer shows his face in mid. But overall, they won't be able to get the lockdown, won't be able to translate that anywhere near a kill. The battle of the tethers coming out.
Well, it's going to be the battle of the shields versus the damage. More so between the Karma and the LeBlanc. Going to be basically defensive laning from Faker. He gets to build a Chalice of Harmony.
Yeah.
And he can go into Athenes from that. That is still
an item that we've not seen much of.
But it's pretty nice against LeBlanc to get magic resist and also mana regen in a single item. Now gives health and mana regen depending on numbers.
Sitting in the brush, Sonic Wave comes through. Score tries to dash away with the trick draw, but they go in, chasing in deeper onto this Graves. One more hit would do it if he can line up the Sonic Wave. Chases in, he goes over the wall. Launcher Q not going to connect, falls short, but now Pawn, he chases in a bit too far. Has to use that W to get himself out to safety. Stays alive, Score, flash down now on the Graves.
Gets a bit of positioning in bot, but no more than that. Far advantage SKT. They seem to have read the book that KT was trying to write specifically around bot lane. You cannot afford to play as far up the lane, use summoners aggressively if you don't have your jungler pathing. There is, of course, the next level of playing like your jungler's there. But when the wraparound comes from the Lee Sin, he's either there or he's not. Scorer was not in the bot lane, and Deft was the punish.
Slow him down a bit. Exchanges coming into the mid lane. Faker gets the tether onto Pawn. Works him low. Still has those biscuits coming through with the Dark Seal. Sustain himself a bit faster. Going low on mana. Gonna need those first buys to come out here for Faker. Meanwhile, Bang showing back up at the bottom lane. Comes in onto Depth. The exhaust comes down yet again, but Bang's not really in range, but instead just tries to exchange back in onto mana. He's out of mana, but the Voidlings doing quite a bit of damage here onto the Twitch. So go ahead, kite back in underneath the turret. Pick up that extra little bit of gold from those Voidlings as best as you can.
There's a teleport coming in, but just to the mid lane. Remember, it's double teleport on both sides. Yeah. So Karma's job is to run after the LeBlanc and basically wave clear in her face. Won't have kill pressure on her in the later parts of the game, but he's hoping the LeBlanc won't have kill pressure on her either when he hit another eyes. And there it is, Chalice of Harmony, bringing back season 6, you'd have to say season 5 almost, when we saw Athene's Unholy Grail rushed basically every game by every mid laner. Orianna sat there weeping when the change came through.
Now, for the most part, we have that Morale and Omicron coming in.
Simpongo, a couple of different ways with build. In the last time we saw him, he didn't finish the Gunblade first. He actually went for Morale and Omicron, I believe, after the Revolver, just for trading. Has gone Gunblade first in the past, so we'll keep tabs, might be a gold thing. What I can say about the bot lane is that the thing about Twitch is that he lanes much more comfortably when he has Bilgewater and when he's able to push in, because he does have true AoE now with the nature of W applying stacks of his passive. And if he goes back, he'll have Lifesteal in return as Smart Peanut me.
He's got the 2v2 up here in the top lane. It's going to be the hook shot, and they lock him down. Ultimatum comes out from Huni as well as they finish off the Graves. Resonating Strike takes him out from Smith. One hit from finding a kill of his own. Will be able to finish off that Camille. And Mid lane getting locked down here by Pawn. Flashes away. One more hit would do it from Pawn. Unable, does not have the cooldowns, can't go in to finalize the kill.
That's why Faker waited to see if he needs to flash away from multiple auto attacks. We could see on our screen, thankfully OGN had toggled over to the LeBlanc, no cooldowns available. Was not going to pick up the kill with a flash. Trust damage through that Chalice. We see a lot of brawling this game at the start. We see the replay. Score, I mean, and Huni decides they're going in, and that has certainly been a problem in previous matches where we've seen them misjudge. But this is the battle we saw off screen. Full rotation from Pawn. Faker misses all his spells, but Chalice of Harmony, the Faker will not go down. He would have died if there was no magic resist purchased on his first battle.
Himself safe in that mid lane, starts behind very slightly as far as the CS is considered. But otherwise, it's pretty even across the board. Peanut falling behind, a bit behind score, but does have those two kills.
Spotted here is Bang, going for the traditional mid-roam. Def knows all about these.
Walking his way in, but Pawn playing so far back, not in range of Faker, getting that move down onto him.
There's the mini power spike of Bilgewater. It's not quite played the Ruin King when it comes to the active, but
good start. Faker just getting ripped apart.
As an AD carry, you can only exit lane for so long, so he has to return, thus isn't positioned for Faker, who certainly going to get value out of the refillable potion, that's for sure.
Unfortunately, it's only got 2 charges, though.
I wonder if he'll max E first, like we often see for support Karma.
There's a lot of refillable potions in the game at the moment.
The first purchase from Bang because of the early recall, but it's coming back to Karma. It's usually Q3 points E max as support. Can you afford to go
full Q?
Full Q. I mean, do you need to go full Q because it's such a different dynamic? You're not trying to help pushing, you're trying to actually force LeBlanc out of lane because LeBlanc does not want to build any magics. He wants to go full offense. So taking a mantra level 5 Q to the face will stop their own potential from the LeBlanc.
It's quite a bit. More exchanging going on down here in the bottom lane, but things have stabilized for the most part. You can see Def keeping up in CS, has that Vamp Scepter, so he can at least regain a lot of that HP that he's losing in exchanges.
Despite having double control ward, Bang gets to push as Twitch and then just back away, and that's exactly the lane spot you want for a Twitch, to be able to just AoE down waves, let the poison stay, and have the option to push in. Under turret, struggles a lot more. Pushing up, and pushing up is pretty comfortable for now for Bang.
Can expect a very similar build path here from Bang. Later the Ruin King to start things off, and more than likely going to be that QSS coming in afterward. Himself safe from that Nethergrass, from that Ash Arrow. Losing out on those exchanges in the top lane. Smith finding all of the weak spots.
Well, let's remember that it is a Fiora, and it is a DPS matchup, and we spent a whole season talking about the ramifications of that. May not have the chance to here as that's coming up with Ash Arrow.
Mon dashing in, gets a lockdown onto Faker, only down to half HP, and that's going to be the Ash Arrow coming through. Mana gets the silence, and Faker will fall. Def picks up the kill, making it a 2 for 2. Barely sliding KT into that gold lead.
The bot lanes make one roam each. The one from Bang does not work. The one from Deft is much more straightforward when the chain registers. Actually get to pick up the kill. Only the investment of the double summoners for Mata to speak about. Nice stuff there from KT. Want to find a way to open the map to actually get the first rotation on the double teleport and play the side lane. As Deft's going to just walk up to Bang.
Yeah, finds him. Ash Arrow knows that it's down, but now Mata coming in from the sidelines. The grass gets thrown out, but it's interrupted here. Tries to kite back the arrival of Faker. A little bit too late to get the tag in onto the kill. Won't be able to find that for himself. He goes a little wild. Keeps up though, and now KT have to exit. Score dashing backward. The flash forward from Bang. Out for blood. Leggy is ticking away, but likely won't be able to find the kill. But now Peanut on the backside. Will he be able to come up with something?
Huni actually interrupted the teleport from the Fiora. Looked like a great spot for the Grand Challenge. No teleport now, though, and it might actually be first break against the Tide. So off the map, big turnaround by Huni. Actually stopped the turn from KT. Now, for once, KT have to watch as their first turret is eliminated.
All right, we'll have to get a replay of that play there by Huni up at the top lane, but heroic for sure.
Especially because he was losing trades. It could have just been a one-way mission where he gave over his life and potentially the outer turret. But got in, got out, didn't even have to flash then, flashed after that one, so I imagine because of the Grand Challenge coming through. But the Fiora cleanup never came. That was really big because it looked like they were being sucked in for a Tiamat Fiora to get a couple of kills.
KT, they get a taste of a lead. just a brief moment, but SKT with that first break see themselves in such a massive victory now.
But a lot is happening in the top lane. So the teleport comes through. We already knew that it was the Karma. Watch Smeb dive into a brush and doesn't know that it's warded. Hextech ultimatum, of course, means nobody's coming in. Really big story there, because with the health bars where they're at, full health Graves ends up just giving up his health bar for free because he does not have the Fiora to be in the front line as well.
Peanut unable to find his way into that backside of the fight to get those execution kills. So, deaths avoided there for KT. Good zoning by Pawn, but still suffering heavy losses throughout the duration of that fight. Dragon now being started up here by SK Telecom. Mountain Drake kicking things off on the board. 13 minutes. We'll see what the follow-up is going to be. It's going to be an Infernal Drake. There we go. Triple Ocean in game 1. Now things are going to get a bit spicy here in game 2. Looney, a bit of a bad spot, gets locked down here by the LeBlanc. Misses that tactical sweep. It's a shield coming through off the passive, going low. The shield is there from Wolf. Great roam up by he and Faker. They'll keep that Camille alive.
Pawn was spacing out his damage because, of course, wanted to get all the passive procs in and the revolver. As in the mid lane.
Yeah, Hoodie going in deep.
What's the flash from Def? He's got no flash now.
That's going to be the Ash Arrow coming in. Sonic Wave connects. They kick him back in, and Def is dead to rights. Gets picked up by Hooney. The 4th kill is thrown on the board for SK Telecom. They look for Mata. Unable to find it, but they'll be happy with finishing off the Ash. They go back in. Actually, the Tether locks him down. The Monster Q has the Nether Grasp trying to kill Peanut with the Wild Grip. Keeps him alive, and the shields come out from both the Karma and the Lulu. That has to be annoying. Hit your KT. They pick up a 2nd kill.
And it's just a preview of the late game. Those shields will not be used on Lee Sin in the late game. They're all for Bang, but already they are massive. See Bang in the mid lane. Every time KT has tried to pick, the utility and counter roams from SKT have been there. KT attracted, now they want Pawn.
Pawn dashing away, gets chunked out, almost a half HP off the bat. The Blade of the Rune King really doing work here for Bang.
And you might wonder, okay, is SKT just got sick wards and they're nowhere to be? Is it a Sixth Sense? They've got Lulu Karma. They're always going to be in position to counter roam because at least one person is moving at Mark 10 on the side of KT and everything.
Coming in, doesn't get the red buff, but there's another ultimatum stopping the score from going over the wall. The rest of the team piles in, they take him out. Another kill over to Peanut, 3-0-2 on the Lee Sin. He's looking for that 11th win.
And where does this all start? It starts in KT not getting first brick in the bot lane. That will always unlock a support to roam, and your eyes are instantly drawn to Mata. Did it in the semi-final on the Malzahar multiple times. Was there to help Graves get the picks and score, get the picks in the semi-final. But actually, your eyes need to be on the Lulu, because now Lulu's been unlocked to allow the counter rotations, to have the extra shields and the wild growth. And those close damage considerations are not close when 400 extra shielding at 15 minutes is being added onto the members of SKT.
They are starting to stomp out KT at every turn. 1,600 gold here for SK Telecom, the Mountain Drake there on reserve for them. And if they maintain this pace, very likely an Infernal to follow. Really put the nail in the coffin here against Kt Rolster. Hooney, bottom lane, coming through from the LeBlanc.
One already understands that there's no latitude for messing around. Itemization will be Gunblade after Merc treads admittedly, but Gunblade Rush for just that extra bit of burst, because you need every extra bit when you're against the Karma and Lulu duo.
Yeah.
The Bang's already going to be so far in the back line that the Blanc not snowballing, the Fiora not snowballing, although Fiora is doing relatively well, means those shields are so much more likely to keep him at half health, and then he just keeps spraying and praying. And KT doesn't have a comp that can answer that ability. So the fact that they're winning these early dives, these early trades, makes everything oh so much more sweet for SKT.
Here's some defensive itemization coming in from Bang. There's going to be that Ninja Tabi coming through.
What about the
Gold
Aegis,
magic.
man? Gotta throw in the Aegis there.
He's building up for it.
He needs an extra shield. He doesn't have a shield, Achilles. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be most likely the Ninja Tabi and a QSS on the side of Bang. Probably going to be actually the Ardent Sensor next for Faker, going full utility build in the mid lane. Yeah. There's some argument for something like the Luden's Echo to just have bigger Q harass, but Faker already knows there's not a lot of damage to push through, a lot of health to push through, so keeping either the LeBlanc or more likely the Twitch alive is the first call. Oh, that's a whip.
Oh boy. All right, so mid distortion here for Pawn.
Come on, Peanut, not your mouse again.
Not another mouse issue.
It's always Peanut.
It really is always Peanut.
We don't know it's a mouse issue yet,
That's
but
true. Trying to get confirmation of that one quickly here, figure out exactly what's going on.
this is so rough on Pawn in particular.
This is a very awkward timing.
He's mid-spell rotation.
Yeah, coming in off that distortion, trying to jump in on the Peanut.
Now,
Who is also trying to exit out of the Raptor pit.
we talked about picks coming through from the LPL.
It's a headset issue.
It's a headset issue. That's good to hear. As I was going to talk about in the LPL, there was, of course, a remake because of a mouse issue, leading to Road of Aime dying in a turret dive because he wasn't able to move. Headset issue is a bit more optimistic. But the timing is not fortuitous at all for action being interrupted. Very unfortunate there.
It's moments like these that can really just chip away at your mentality. Stuck in the middle of what is about to be a team fight here.
I imagine the headset needs to be fixed up. Not sure of any other issues there, but we'll just take a moment to step back. Get the lay of the land.
Get that expedited shipping from Team Razor out here. Get replaced.
Angling for the SKT, for the Team Razor retweet, are we, Achilles? I think enough people are watching. They're definitely watching.
They're always lurking.
Such as the Razor way.
Well, we have the countdown
Don't sell out,
coming
boys.
through, so seems like we might have everything taken care of. It looks like we do. So Pawn dashes in, take away the big Raptor. That's just about going to be it there. So no one going down, no real blows coming through on either side.
The lay of the land is SKT with the advantage. Being able to get the kills on the utility means the utility's there. Earlier, Bang has been able to hit his timing as well as KT fishing for the picks that made game one so interesting.
Ashero is ready to go. Pawn dashes in, sizzle down on the Peanut, cuts him out to half HP.
But can they kill with an Ash Arrow, you know? Like, you think about the Malzahar flashing in. Even then, the shields are there. The shields are real. And Karma is only about stymieing LeBlanc. Teleport Karma doesn't hold much threat, but certainly it slows down the pace of Kt Rolster.
Seeing that he is unsafe with it, dashes away with a hook shot, will lose out on that turret. So that's 2 over to Kt Rolster, still down in gold by 1.2 thousand. KT, they're going to look to even the score here. Straight back to the tower of their own. So go ahead and keep moving up that top lane.
LeBlanc's moves being dictated to me, is a lot more important than what we saw on the other side of the Rift. Gunblade finished for the LeBlanc, but Gunblade does a lot of interesting things. We haven't actually seen that itemization that much in Korea to talk about it, but
I haven't seen LeBlanc that much.
It's true.
Oh, flash forward, it's going to be an underground down onto Bang. He's coming out, Ash Arrow layered in. He's still alive in the wild, but keeps him up through everything. Wolf going forward, gets the polymorph in on the mana, and he's going to fall with just one more shot. Meanwhile, Bang might just go down, but the heal is there. He's kiting back. Smeb getting locked down. Meanwhile, the other side of the fight, Pawn finds the kill in onto Huni, but Smeb dies in the end, and Bang, the target that they were all looking for, does not fall. It's a 2-for-1 in SKT's favor.
They thought it was finally their moment. They couldn't see a Lulu. They couldn't see a Karma. They knew where Karma was.
Looking for Dap, the Sonic Wave, not going to connect, but now everybody from SKT sitting right here in front of an Infernal Dragon that's about to spawn. Perfect timing from them. They'll go ahead, they start this one up, but there's really nothing KT can do to try to contest this.
And in some ways, it's the least bloodthirsty Infernal Drake we'll see in a while, because honestly, it's the extra shields and health that it will provide that are so much more relevant than 8% more damage onto specifically Bang. That looked like the moment, but actually there was a Lulu around the corner.
They invest
Lulu's
everything.
walking down, anticipating this could happen. They think they have enough damage, but Wolf doesn't even have to flash. Gets the ult in, the Karma teleport comes in as well. Mata died off screen, we'll finally see the confirmation there. And Huni, maybe it wasn't worth trading the 1 in a 1v4 scenario, but he bought time, where on the other side, it felt like Bang was gaining health as the Fiora was diving on him, and that feeling's only gonna get more and more real.
Yeah. Say the 2-for-1, probably worth it if you don't use the flash. But Huni just getting a little antsy and overzealous there. Pick up that.
It was a zoning.
Yeah. But, you know, if I flash here, they'll kill me and they stay away from the rest of my team. Even though they're nowhere near my team.
It was definitely a mistake. It was definitely a bloodthirsty move from Huni, but the rest of the game has gone.
And we've seen that, you know, really cost SKT in the past. But right now, the bloodthirsty was coming out of Peanut and Huni around the top lane earlier on, you know, during the laning phase. Working out for them.
But you think back and you're like, okay, well, why not Prophet? You know, Prophet looks so good and had a long winning streak and he's very reliable. The thing is that you could attribute a lot of what Prophet has looked good on to Cuvée, who was also a tank role player for the large one. Admittedly, there is the rumble for the side of Profit, but that can be banned. You need someone who plays carries when you're going against Smeb, because if they force you in a mismatch and you're on a tank and all you play is tanks, Smeb's got carries for days and will beat you. So they need Huni's mindset to actually be able to match Smeb, because Cubase can never match Smeb on carries. Yeah. Huni can. That's what he made his name on.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We already saw that mismatch happen versus Samsung. Part of why KT was able to just very handedly take them out.
Huni is a trump card in this series. Even if he makes mistakes, his skill, his mechanical skill and ability to play carries is needed with the way the meta is developing. Specifically, the KT meta plays out.
I mean, honestly, Huni might even have it written into his contract that he has to play against Smeb to try to get revenge.
No, I talked to Huni. This has one Lucian top game a season in there, so.
All right.
Game 3.
Well, here we go. Here's hoping game 3 we get the Hecker and Riven rematch.
Oh boy.
That'd be a great one.
Something about having manners picks when you're 2-0 up that makes that a little bit tough to swallow, I guess, but we take what we can get as Faker just groups in the small golems to the CS is going to acquire.
Bang coming in, they're looking for Smeb. Gonna get that ultimatum coming through, locked in, tries to trigger one back on the bank. It's a lot of damage in, but it's not going to be enough. He gets taken out, but meanwhile, back towards that mid lane, right by the Raptor camp, Wolf, he gets picked off. Ash Arrow looks like he came through. The damage there from Pawn, they pick up a kill.
Well, the 1-for-1 goes the way of SKT in terms of impact. Wolf can actually even use the redemption while he's dead to have extra impact, but not going to be a big factor. That's out of mana, so won't be focusing on much. Trading of picks, things stay even. But playing the map as Smeb was able to in game 1, where his team forced moments and he could just split push without vision because they had vision of the other team, is not possible here. And SKT reacts so fast. Consider how fast and how much terrain Lee Sin and on your screen now the Camille can make when they have double speed ups as well. You're not getting away from the Hextech ultimatum. It could be a true melee range ability. It could be basically a Rammus taunt. It's going to hit the right member because they have insane mobility on the side of SKT.
See if Proxy that wave, just trying to get things moving into that inner turret and Pawn. Creating some nice pressure there across the map. We're now 23 minutes in. We saw KT start up the Baron in game 1 around 20 minutes right after it had spawned. Neither team in a position to do so this time around.
In the build-up to this event, people talked about I don't think Bank's going to kill here.
About that.
This game did resemble, on some ways, the ultimate shield versus sword matchup, where SKT known for defensive and KT known for offensive. Apologies to Argent Shield in this discussion, but this is the game to exemplify that. It's a shield comp from SKT against, once again, 5 carry champions on the side of KT, and we'll get the true answer. 5 people building damage versus, you know, 2 true threats on the side of SKT, and just every shield imaginable.
Thanks, Lee. Self the moment, tosses out here, in on the depth. Arrow lurking, the arrow is available. Bang getting jumped on. Shields come through to keep him alive. Peanut gets the kick in on the Pawn. He has a tether down, but it doesn't matter. They chase him and they take him out. Bang picking up the kill for himself. Now 10-4 on the board for SKT. Not at all what KT wanted from that exchange.
So decisive is Peanut on the Lee Sin, knows all the limits. Now with 1 member down, they can tank up turrets. Better to tank up with shields than have the minions die, because they have a better chance of pushing. And they got the shields, Achilles, and they got mid-turret.
Shields for days, they go ahead, they take it out. Bang still so healthy, now 2-0-2 on this Twitch, becoming an absolute powerhouse for this mid-game. 25 minutes about to be on the clock. SKT, a couple more picks like that could be a Baron very swiftly going down.
Now look, Bang takes a big risk, walking up like he did. And Peanut is just so smooth. They had vision over it, but in an instant, Peanut, big flash, beautifully pulled off, had a couple of great ones like this in game 1 as well. Peanut did not play Lee Sin until right around Worlds, where he used all the off time between the winning the final and Worlds to build up Lee Sin, and since then has been just unconscionably good on the pick. Like you say, 10-0, double digits over the course of spring season. Multiple teams banded against him. Scor's had a pretty good Lee Sin himself this year as well. But you have to sacrifice something for something. They went all in at trying to pick up power on the side of KT. And there's always power picks left for SKT as well.
Start off not looking too great there for Score, but so far, haven't seen the Lee Sin even considered by him. Peanut, somebody that was straying away from this pick when it was available, was favoring the Grave. Now comes back in games 1 and 2 with this Lee Sin, just tacking more wins on the board. He's poised to be 11-0 this split with this champion. And you have to expect KT, they need to take this away.
And you think about Graves, and you think about Score, and he is a great Graves, and of course it's fun to see a nod to his old AD carry Immortal Score days as well. But consider that Graves doesn't really make things happen, you know, even less so than someone like Rengar, who's another level 6 jungler, and Score has often been needed to bail them out of bad games and also accelerate good games, as he was able to against Samsung. Graves doesn't have that same caliber around him. Sure, if your lanes are winning and an Ash Arrow comes in, you can burst someone to death, but they went first pick Graves, and the Lee Sin seems to be the true crown jewel when it comes to jungle picks in this series.
Maybe they were going to go for Smeb for a second, but instead SKT started this out. Drake thinks by himself, however, as Bang is just hunting in the jungle. It's the flash out, will eat that Ash Arrow, but cleanses it off immediately with the QSS.
And he doesn't see any threat anymore. He's got QSS, I mean Lulu in the pocket, Karma not far behind.
Goodbye engagement from the Malzahar. You can't flash Nethergrasp anymore, so SKT going to fearlessly push up this mid lane again. The shield's being used on the Peanut, eating those turret shots, keeping the minions alive.
And that's the point. We need to understand at home, when you have shielding, tanking, like for example when Nautilus taking 30 turret shots, means you have the minions pushing. You don't need to commit melee champions into hitting the turret when all the minions are, and the shields will shrug off all the damage. So it is the correct play to tank turret in this scenario.
And your wave doesn't get thinned out as you pull back, so the wave maintains staying forward, so you don't have to prep it as quickly as you normally would in that situation. Faker, a really nice check here on the pawn. Damage will come out. He gets the lockdown, but the Sonius has been used. Any exit dashes to the side. Like he will be able to make it out with his life, but the TP is coming in on the backside. You can see it's going to be Huni joining in the fight. Immediately gets locked down by that Nethergrass. Neptune barely going to clip him. He stays alive. The Wild Growth keeps him popped up, has the shield from the past, but he will go down. And Smeb kills him with a grand challenge, dashing in, looking for more. Finishes off Faker. So far, it's 2 kills on the side of SKT as they go down for 3 of KT. They follow up, looking for more. They get pawn. They want Score. They want the ace. And Bang is going to make it happen. There we go. No, this takeaway by the Lee Sin. Peanut with the triple kill. 6-0-5, and now a Baron over to SKT T1.
5 DPS champions. Hell, throw in a couple more. Still no one will get anywhere near the Twitch, who has no threat on him in the backline whatsoever. The items are not there for Smeb. The threat is not there from the LeBlanc either. And the shield comp has worked a treat by SK Telecom. You fall behind a shield comp and then they have damage and shielding. Really nice burst teleport, but honestly, Mata spared this from being even worse, interrupting there being the perfect initiation from the Camille. But then you just have to decide. Remember that this fight is always going to be decided. Every fight will be decided by the Twitch, and Bang doesn't take any damage at all. He's free hitting the whole fight, and Peanut, this early into the game with a couple of DPS items, is basically a backline assassin in his own right.
Yeah, he is just popping off now on this Lee Sin. You can see the Lord Dominic's regard completed. The long sword for Bang as they get ready to come back in off this replay. Peanut is feeling quite happy with his performance thus far.
Both these players were famous in wanting to take down SK Telecom. Both Peanut and Smeb on the Rocks Tigers wanted to take down SKT Star, but they never could. Their only win ever was famously against Kt Rolster, and KT did the dirty work over SKT in the semi-final. And as we talked about in the Trash Talk, there's always 2 roads you can walk in this way.
If you can't beat them, join them.
That's the one that Peanut chose. Smeb tried to be the beacon of hope on KT across with these stars, but SKT always get it done. This is the day without Bengi. There's less of those old guard members here. It's only Faker and Coma to speak of from the original days. But maybe we'll never know which of those 2 is the bigger threat. Everyone wants to say Faker, but Coma is in a league of himself as a coach as well. And right now, KT, you know, this particular game, if they somehow get to 6 items, maybe they have the damage to do it, but I can never see that happening.
Bang yet again.
The moment that I saw Bang walk up to a Malzahar Ashe and open up, I was like, okay, well, this game is escalated
kind of
quickly.
done. All right. Well, Bang, monstrous on this Twitch. 4-0-5, deathless so far. Be a nice cash-in if anyone can actually take him out, but even that might not be enough. Swing KT back into a good slot. You can see the pressure coming out here from SK Telecom on that top side of the map. With the inner turret being taken down. Do they stick around for more is the question. Smeb will get interrupted by Huni if he goes out for the teleport, but actually doesn't even have it available for about 30 more seconds.
There's no options here for KT. The Ash Arrow will be instantly cleansed.
Oh, and Huni, he's looking to exchange here. Rapo's not going to connect to this. Finishes him off with the Q-Pop, the Trinity Force. So much damage coming through. Takes him out. Smeb getting executed. Huni finally finding solace for those plays back in Worlds in 2015. Peanut going in, Wild Growth, the shields, the redemption, not going to be in time. He does fall as Pawn picks up the kill, but now the this inhibitor has been exposed, and the members of KT are falling to the wayside. Score going down, Def firing away as best as he can, but the double kill is there from Bang. They take him out, and they'll get the inhibitor, and SKT, 4 members dead, are poised to go to match point.
In every single lane, KT is losing. SKT will end the game here. No wave clear left. As you say, regards to 2015, sent by Huni. It does not matter a single iota on this day. SKT brought the new stuff. We thought it would be KT with the new tech. Welcome SKT to the new tech club. They go up 2-0, and suddenly they'll tell me about have a pretty short night, Achilles, because the reverse sweep, it'd be the stuff of dreams, but it's not looking likely with SKT 2-0 up and in full control.
Smiles and a sigh of relief there from Huni on the faces of SK Telecom overall as we pan through the booth. 1 win away. A 5th finals victory here in Korea as SK Telecom T1 would staple them as the #1 team in the world, as the team going to represent Korea at MSI.
KT forced Samsung into playing reactive, and Samsung had nothing. We fast forward to the grand final. KT are the ones that have to adapt their ban phase in game 2 on the blue side once again, and they still come up wanting. They are second to SKT, who had the strategy to counter the strategy. Feels like you're playing rock, paper, scissors, and SKT's got a fourth one that beats everything, because they are looking like they just have an endless playbook, and mostly through Faker. He's played 2 unique champions on the season in a single series in his first 2 games. First game of Fizz, first game of Karma for the season.
Well, if you're a KT fan, you gotta be hoping that the Fiora was not the pocket pick that we were discussing earlier. Not finding success. Huni absolutely destroying with that Camille, but you really gotta give it to Peanut. Put on a clinic with that Lee Sin.
Definitely MVP. We'll obviously confirm that later in the broadcast, but Peanut was the difference. 11-0 on that Lee Sin. And suddenly now that has to be a ban. You start going, wait, what did we have to ban in game 2 because of game 1? 10 bans, feels like we could do with another 10 on the side of Kt Rolster, and maybe then we can see some more games in this series.
Maybe it wouldn't even be enough. KT, I already said the backs were against the wall in game 1. Now, truly so, as it's match point for SK Telecom. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we'll see if this is just gonna be the 3-0 or if the reverse sweep can be initiated by KT. Don't go anywhere, guys. You do not want to miss this explosive conclusion. That's sure what it's going to be. Bloodthirsty games in 1 and 2, and I'm sure it's going to continue. We'll be back in a few. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up next.
The clock's ticking, the cops are coming fast, so grab the duffel bag and let's roll.